Hi guys, welcome to week 3. I have to tell you, this is take 2 of this recording. We've got a lot of information to cover, so please bear with me as I kind of speed through this, but realize that it's a recording and you can stop, pause, and rewind at any minute if you're unsure of the information that I've just covered. Okay, so week 3, you guys are doing a fantastic job. We're over halfway through. There's no final project for this course, so you simply have to be ready for that final exam, and you're doing a little bit of that by taking quizzes every week. Student question of the week: if I live in another state or do not plan to walk across stage, can I still receive a cap, gown, or tassel? And the answer is yes, you can. Your cap and gown fee is actually part of your enrollment fee. So you've already paid for it. It's yours. All you have to do is, when we get closer to graduation in May, go online, order the correct size, and you'll be able to pick it up at CCC. If you live out of state, contact me and I will get it mailed to you. And if you'd rather not receive the whole cap and gown, maybe you just want that tassel, that's okay too. Let me know before graduation and I'll pick a few extra one up and mail those to you. So it's a great question. Chapter 11, we're going to be looking at developmentally appropriate social and emotional environments, this time for preschoolers. So specifically, our preschoolers. So what's going on with the social and emotional development this time? They're identifying with the people in their lives. They're wanting to please the adults. They're wanting to be like them. So if you look at this little guy in the picture here, I know he's not a preschooler. He's got those little chunky toddler legs, but he's copying dad. With whatever's going on, he's playing on his phone. So please remember, they're watching all the time. Also, gender identity is sort of solidifying at this time. Their sexual identity and their sexual behavior. Cultural and racial identity is happening. Members of the family, their larger community, what race they are, what religion they are, all these things all go into making them them. And initiative, big at this stage, taking actions, asserting themselves, and just like the 2 and 3-year-olds, they are still wanting to make decisions. So it's important that we give this age group choices, gives them a little empowerment. Friendship, they're engaging in a few different types of play that we're going to talk about here in just a minute. They're learning a little bit about pro-social behavior, how they should act in public, how they should act around other people, versus aggression and how to handle that emotion as well. So they've got these new verbal abilities, and they're learning a little bit about their emotions, which we addressed in one of our Pinterest assignments a few weeks ago. Also, self-control. They're comprehending standards of conduct taught by the adults. Be the good role model so that they will get appropriate self-control, appropriate standards. Okay, play. Let's talk about play because it's so important. During play, they can gain knowledge of so many different educational areas. They can solve problems. They strengthen their language skills because they're talking to other children, they're talking to teachers, they're talking to themselves, develop their imaginations, they're just blossoming at this age, and they're learning to be a part of a group. Even if it's just one of the kiddos in the classroom, they're learning to be a part of the group. So let's look at some of these different types of play. Let me see if I can get my pointer up here right. First of all, unoccupied play. The child is relatively stationary, appears to be performing random movements with no apparent purpose, a relatively infrequent style of play, just hanging out. Solitary play. The child is more completely engrossed in playing and does not seem to notice other children yet. Most often seen in children between the ages of 2 and 3, just playing by themselves. Onlooker play. Child takes an interest in other children's play but does not join in with that play. They're just watching. May ask questions or talk to the other children, but the main activity is simply to watch. And so they may watch one group of kids for a minute, and then they may go over and watch another group of kids for a minute. And it's important to note that this may be our shy child that's getting the hang of their surroundings, of the people in it, and they're getting ready to step into a more active play role. Parallel play, number 4, the child mimics other children's play but doesn't exactly engage with them. So this is, for example, they may be using the same toy. They may be playing side by side. Say each of them has a doll, but they're not communicating with each other. They're just playing in the same general vicinity. Next, associative play. Now more interested in each other than the toys they are using. So it's step up towards interaction. This is the first category that involves strong social interaction between the children while they play. They're becoming interested in each other. Now, the next one is cooperative play, our final one. Some organization enters the children's play. For example, the playing has a goal, and children often adopt roles or act as a group. So a great example of cooperative play would be playing house, or maybe they're playing Red Rover on the playground, or maybe there's a whole list of things that we could be playing, but the most important thing is that they're doing it together. It has a goal, maybe they're building something, and it has rules that they have to follow in cooperative play. Next, let's talk a little bit about helping preschoolers with emotional control. It's so important. We have to first provide them with a secure environment, predictable environment. This is where our schedule comes in. Warm relationships, keep it positive, help them feel safe to express these emotions and talk about these emotions. Acceptance. Recognizing their feelings are valid. When they're having a bad day, they're having a bad day, and we can't just talk them out of it. Sometimes we need to use that as a learning opportunity and talk about how they're feeling, what caused them to feel this way. Use active listening, reflecting how they feel. So be sure and use your you messages or your I messages here. Limits on expression. This is where our classroom rules or our center rules come in. No hitting, no screaming, no pushing at any time. It's never okay. And some of our outlets that we might use for a frustrated child, because sometimes these feelings need to come out, is Play-Doh's great. They get to knead it, move it around, make things. A punching bag was listed on one website, but I'm not sure about that one. You might give me some feedback on that one. Paper tearing. I know this sounds silly, but it's great. Ripping sheets of paper into pieces and then into smaller pieces can be very cathartic. And lastly, alone time. Allowing a place in your classroom, a safe place in your classroom for them to sit, to read, to listen to music if needed, and knowing that they can do this helps them with their emotional control. What else? Helping preschools with emotion control, we want to model appropriate behavior. We have to lead by example in all the interactions that we have, not just with the students in the classroom, with fellow teachers, with fellow co-workers. Learning about feelings, talk about them, read about them, do activities about different emotions, giving them their emotional vocabulary that they need in order to express how they're feeling, and also giving them materials for expression, such as dolls are fantastic. You learn so much about children by watching them play with dolls and hearing what they say. Playing house, playing puppets. Puppets are often used by therapists and can be used sort of informally in the classroom as well. So what do? We want to nurture their individual identity, of course. It's so important that every child is unique. Even if they come from the same family, Each child can be so different. Even if they're twins or triplets, each child is going to be so different and so unique. We need to encourage that. We need to value it and show them it's okay. Gender identity, we want to accept the children's curiosity about their bodies, because this is a big part of their life right now. They're realizing things about their bodies. They're going to have questions. Some of them are going to be uncomfortable to answer. And some of them, it's okay to say, I'll get right back with you. And maybe go bounce this question off someone else and say, how should I answer this? It's fine to do that. Maybe you even need to text or call mom or dad to find out how they'd like for you to react. Encourage cross-gender play choices. So we want that cooking set that's boy or girl friendly. We want that car set that's boy or girl friendly. Remember, we brought that up in an earlier live lecture. We want to involve children in new activities, get them to reach out, and of course communicate with their parents about what's going on. Now, if we look at the scale, I kind of love this because I never thought about this before. We're on this scale of male to female instead of just black and white. And whenever I saw the different pictures, I realized that when I was a little girl, I was more like a number 5. I was a tomboy. I wore my cowboy hat and my cowboy boots, and I loved kicking boys for some reason with the boots. It's not right. But I was much more of a tomboy, and as I've grown up, I'm getting closer and closer to 2 and 3. I'm much more of a girly girl than I thought I ever would be. So sometimes that changes over the lifetime, but realize that boy girl isn't just black and white. There's all different varieties to recognize and to respect in between. Okay, cultural and racial identity. It's very important that we provide a positive anti-bias environment, being welcoming to all cultures, all races. Select literature that portrays diversity, which is sometimes hard to do. You really have to seek that out to help balance that in your classroom. Involve all parents in the classroom activities because that enriches our classroom. Support and maintain child's home culture and home language. You know, it wasn't so long ago that we tried to change American Indians. They could not speak their native language. They could not wear their traditional attire. And, you know, we realize now that that was so wrong. So we need to encourage that. We want to embrace their culture, not put it aside. So this is a great quote, cultural identity is a holistic combination of national, political, cultural, religious, and family factors which shape up one's identity. So I think it's important to realize that all these things come together into creating the child and making them them. So lastly, I would like for you in your summary to tell me a few things about how can we teach friendship in preschools. Give me a few ideas, and that way I know you made it all the way down here to the end of the video. How can we teach friendship specifically with preschool children? And if there are any questions, please contact me, call me, email me, Facebook me. I'll get right back with you. And if you don't hear right back from me, something happened. I didn't get the email. Something went terribly wrong. Okay, so try again. Thanks, guys, and have a great week 3.